This has been Kaneaiakala again. Welcome. We are in step 4. This is part 2 of step 4. In part 1, we kind of went into the first couple of paragraphs in the 12 and 12, talking about these God-given instincts that we all have as human beings, and how when they exceed its purpose, we get into pain and suffering. And that's kind of the synopsis of that first couple of paragraphs, which is very important in us moving forward and in recognizing that these God-given instincts that we have will operate and function the way that they're supposed to. And there's no need for us where things where we create conflict or pain and suffering in our lives, whether we're addicted to a substance or we're in anxiety, depression, whatever the spectrum might be. When we misuse or exceed its proper purpose, we get into conflict and pain and suffering. And that's what step 4 is. When we make this moral and fearless moral inventory, we're for probably the first time in our lives, maybe, and those of you who have been in recovery for a long period of time have probably seen the repetitiveness of certain themes and patterns that go on even in sobriety or in recovery from a particular addiction, say for instance. So step 4, it gives us that opportunity to take a look at, see things on paper for once, and share it with another human being. And to kind of start that whole process of just taking a look at self and becoming aware of self and bringing attention to self, yeah, like we never have before. So I'm going to go into the next couple of paragraphs. So this is on page 42 and 43. So step 4 is our vigorous and painstaking effort to discover what liabilities in each of us have been and are. So it's a vigorous and can be a very painstaking process to finally take a look at what I have in my head, probably for the very first time. And like I said, if you've been in recovery, then the things that we probably discover in our inventory, our 4-step inventory, might be a different people, place, or thing, but the repetitiveness of the patterns and the themes that are going on within my thinking can be the same and can be repetitive. So we're going to be able to take a look at that too. So we want to find exactly how, when, and where our natural desires have warped us. And that's what, when we write pen to paper, that's what we're going to be looking at, is the how, the when, and where our natural desires have gone warped. You know, that they've exceeded its purpose, as it said. So we wish to look squarely at the unhappiness this has caused others and ourselves. By discovering what our emotional deformities are, we can move toward their correction. Without a willing and persistent effort to do this, there can be little sobriety or recovery or contentment for us. Without a searching and fearless moral inventory, most of us have found that the faith which really works in daily living is still out of reach. And that's what ends up happening if we don't get into doing this moral fearless inventory. We won't be able to know what's working and what's not working. And for the very first time, like I said, we finally get to write it out on paper, see what it is, see what deformities are being created, see what part of my thinking is warped, see what's going on for the very first time, and just honestly face it. To be able to bring attention to it. Not to beat ourselves up, not to get into self-pity, not to get into defending myself and getting into superiority. We never want to, although it's going to bring up a lot of emotions doing an inventory like this, a lot of memories, a lot of past pains. It's just going to bring up a lot of stuff that we've been stuffing, you know? And we just stuff it and stuff it, and we stuff it with all kinds of things, you know, all kinds of things to try and fill that hole in the donut, you know? And nothing will be able to fill that hole in the donut. But this step, and just like the first 3 steps, give us an opportunity to finally take a look at what we've been trying to run from, hide from, not deal with, forget, whatever it might be. Here we are doing a inventory and taking a look at and seeing what's happening, you know? So, before tackling the inventory problem in detail, let's have a closer look at what the basic problem is. Simple examples like the following take on a world of meaning when we think about them. So suppose a person places sex desire ahead of everything else. In such a case, this imperious urge can destroy his chances for material and emotional security as well as his standing in the community. Another may develop such an obsession for financial security that he wants to do nothing but hoard money. Going to the extreme, he can become a miser or even a recluse who denies himself both family and friends. And so they give us 2 examples in here of how our God-given instincts can go into excess and they become a defective character, or they become a part of my problem solving, or they become a part of who I think I am. This thing goes into all kinds of things, and that, like they talked about sex and finances, but it's not just sex and finances. It affects relationships with other people. It involves secrets. It involves so many things, you know, and we can't go at that alone. We can't do this by ourselves. That's just a lot of stuff, you know? And we're going to run across these types of things where we create emotional and material struggles and pain and suffering, all because our natural desires or our thinking has created these problems or these challenges for us, or these things that just keep separating us from our being, from even just being a good human being, you know? And when we're able to see that and be able to, and in step 5 where we get to be able to share this with another human being, we get to kind of take a look at and see what's been going on. And hopefully we're open, and as a result of what we did in steps 1, 2, and 3, we're at a place where we're willing to take a look at the deformities, where we're willing to take a look at the shortcomings, where we're willing to take a look at the things that we're not so proud of, to finally take a look at the things that we are proud of, to finally take a look at the things that bring worry and fear into our lives, and then to be able to not have to do that, to be able to not have to live that way anymore. So I hope these few paragraphs that we've been reading in step 4 has brought some insight, hopefully some hope in regards to why this step is so important for us moving forward. And again, please leave questions, comments, and all that kind of stuff, and I can always address some of these things in my next video as we continue to move on in our reading of step 4. So I hope you guys have a great day today, and remember to be now. That's where the solution is at. All right, mahalo.